What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Palantir. So they just had their double-click demo day event, and I'm going to go over some of the key points and some of the key takeaways that I got from this event. It was overall pretty technical, and a lot of what they were doing was just showing the practical applications of their Foundry platform in a couple of different sectors. So if you guys were watching this and you were confused, don't be upset by that. This is a very technical company, and there was a lot going on with this Foundry platform. We also have a new partnership for Palantir and a really strong potential for a gamma squeeze to happen towards the end of this week or the beginning of next week. So we have a lot to go over in this video. So make sure you guys stick around until the end so you're caught up on everything that has been going on with one of our favorite companies, Palantir. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys would like to earn 2 free stocks with Webull, valued up to $1,850, make sure you check out that link down below in my description. All you have to do is sign up, deposit over $100, and you get those 2 free stocks. Now, this is also a great way to help out and support the channel if you guys would like to, because when you get 2 free stocks, I get a free stock as well. And if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in these videos, make sure you go down and hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So as you can see by the chart of Palantir, yesterday we had a very significant run up in share price. Palantir went up about 9%, and then today we are seeing the stock down about 1.83%, and we are extremely close. We are kind of bouncing around this $25 price point, which I think is going to be a very key level for this gamma squeeze that we are going to talk about a little bit later in this video. But let's first go over some of the key takeaways that I got from this double-click demo day event. So one of the most important things that I saw the individuals from Palantir talk about that was a direct representation of what's been going on with Palantir at the current time was they were able to actually help the NHS deliver 29 million vaccines through the use of Foundry, and the 2,500 vaccination sites are managed through the Foundry platform. Now, that's great, but we've also seen some issues with the NHS getting some pretty substantial legal heat. Open Democracy actually sued the NHS for their use of Palantir's technology. And the main reason for this was that Open Democracy claimed that Palantir had too much access to all of the individuals' data, and that the NHS needed to perform a data impact protection assessment. I'm pretty sure I got that list right. It's the data protection impact assessment. That's what it is. So we saw in this demo day a couple of very interesting things. So when you're using the Foundry, you need to submit a data use request. So it's not like everybody working at Palantir or even the executives just have access to all of this data. And then having access to the Foundry does not mean having access to all of the integrated data. That is a direct quote from the demo day. So users have to request access for the specific data that they need, and the request is then evaluated alongside the purpose of their research, and then requests are reviewed by the administrator. So essentially what this is doing for me is it's really showing me that the overall biggest risk factor that I've been noticing for Palantir for their success in the long term is going to be these data protection issues. We've seen this happen with companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, and a couple of other of these tech giants, but Palantir's actual business model deals directly with data. So they could, in the future, have some issues with all of these data laws and regulations, and they might have to switch around their business a little bit. But because of those statements that were made in this demo day, that kind of puts my mind at ease that they are taking steps in the right direction in order to make sure that the data that they are receiving is protected and safe. Now, Palantir also engaged in a new partnership today as well, which is pretty interesting to see on the day that they are doing their double-click demo day event. So, Clarify to deliver AI ML algorithms on Palantir's data management platform for U.S. Army ground station modernization. So, this does sound pretty familiar, and I'm going to show you guys why this whole thing sounds a little bit familiar a little bit later. So, Clarify, a leading AI lifecycle platform provider for managing unstructured image, video, and text data, announced today that it has partnered with Palantir to deliver its artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms on Palantir's data management platform. This effort is part of the first phase of the U.S. Army's ground station modernization in support of its Tactical Intelligence Targeting Access Node program, also known as Titan. So when we come over here, we can see that back in January, Palantir was selected to deliver a prototype for the Army's ground station modernization, and this is the Titan program. So the contract value for the phase 1 is $8.5 million, with a potential contract value of approximately $250 million over all 4 phases. So this is very good news. We are seeing more individuals come into this program in order to help out Palantir really be the best and give the best service to this Titan program. So earlier in this video, I mentioned that Palantir has the potential to do something called a gamma squeeze. So this is going to be very different from a short squeeze. So what a short squeeze is, I'm pretty sure all of you guys know this by now, but when a lot of institutions come out and have very aggressive short positions, when they come out, borrow shares, sell them on the open market, they create a short position in their portfolios. When the stock starts to go up and it hits where they're going to start getting their margin calls and they're significantly down on their position, they then have to buy back their position at a loss at a higher price than they originally sold it for on the open market, creating a lot of buying pressure in the market. Now, a gamma squeeze actually has to do with options, so we're going to go over exactly what that is. But when we come over to Market Watch, we are going to see that the percent of float shorted on Palantir right now is 4.27%. That is most likely, it is very out of the question that a 4.27% of the float shorted is going to cause any sort of short squeeze. So typically, when a short percentage of float is over 20%, that's when it's considered abnormally high, and 4.27% is pretty normal or on the lower side of a company's short percent of float. Now, when we come over here, we're actually going to need to go over what some of these Greeks are in order for you guys to understand what is going on. So delta and gamma, so underlying as the underlying stock price changes, delta and gamma are going to move. So delta measures the sensitivity of an option's theoretical value to a change in the price of an underlying asset. So essentially, it's measured in price changes of $1. So if an options contract has a delta of 0.2, then when the underlying stock price moves $1, then the option value will increase by $20. So when you look at the gamma, it just measures the rate of change for delta. Now, when we come over to the option chain for Palantir, we're going to see a lot of very interesting things. So in order for a gamma squeeze to happen, we need a significant amount of bullish options activity for an expiration date that is not far away. And as we can see here, the volume on these in the money $25 strikes for this week, so these expire in 2 days. Today, it was 84,780. This option chain right now is one of the craziest that I've ever seen. The open interest on these 25s is 66,721. Now, that means that these are the amount of contracts that are being held in people's brokerage accounts right now, because the open interest is essentially defined as the amount of contracts that are out in the market that have not been exercised or closed. So now let's get into how all of this crazy options activity going on the call side of this weekly expiration date for Palantir can cause a gamma squeeze. So you have to think about when you are buying options, you are buying them from somebody. And typically what happens is you are buying them from institutions or market makers. And what they are doing is they are selling at naked calls. This is one of the most risky things that you can do with an option. If you sell a naked call, your potential loss is essentially limitless. So what happens when we see an increase in the share price like we saw yesterday, and there's an extreme amount of options being held by retail traders, as we can see right here, 66,000, 42,000, 37,000, 22,000. What happens is that these institutions then need to come out and hedge their position. So how do they hedge their position when they are selling naked calls? What they do is that they can either buy in the money calls to hedge their position and then create some sort of spread, or what they more likely are going to do is they buy shares on the open market at the current trading price, which then pushes the share price up. But what this does for the institutions is it creates a covered call position. Now, we are seeing here that this 66,000 721 open interest on this $25 strike is being very heavily battled on. We are seeing the $24.95 price. We are seeing it bounce around really close to $5 and then come right back down. We actually saw a 150,000 share wall at this $25 price level earlier today. So it is very possible that these institutions are trying to artificially hold Palantir down throughout the end of this week. But if retail can come in and push the share price of Palantir to the upper 25s, we could see a lot of these $25 strikes get exercised, which are going to create a lot more buying pressure in Palantir, which is then going to send the stock price up. So I know that may be a little bit complicated to understand, but essentially what is going on is the institutions are selling calls to the retail investors, hoping that they are going to expire worthless. But what happens when the stock price goes up is they're like, oh no, we need to hedge our position or else we could be facing a very substantial loss. So then they go and buy shares on the open market, creating essentially a covered call position. So then they don't really, they own the stock so they can deliver on their obligation in an options contract. So if you guys have any questions about that, make sure you comment them down below. I will do my best to answer all of them as soon as I see them. So that is going to conclude this update for Palantir. Again, I am more bullish than ever on Palantir after this demo day. They showed a lot of good practical applications of what the Foundry can do. As retail investors and people who aren't on the inside of all of these companies, we have a decent idea of what this company can do with its Foundry platform. It's essentially a really fancy CRM platform that uses AI in order to make it even better. But when we see the practical applications of what this platform can actually do, there's really no limit to where Palantir can go in terms of industries. I've said before that Palantir's total addressable market is unknown, and in my opinion, it's kind of limitless. As we saw with the Pentagon, they said that there's going to be a $16 trillion market for these data analytics and AI platforms over the next 10 years. So we are really, in my opinion, going to see a significantly more amount of contracts coming Palantir's way over the next couple of years. So that is going to conclude this update on Palantir. If you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So I hope you guys are having a really profitable day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.